Oh,
or friends joining us. He knows gaming. He's an alien. I think he's scared of my lightsaber. I come in peace. Don't worry.
yeah, welcome, he knows. Yeah, and I just fired up the party stream. As soon as I saw him, it reminded me like, crap, I forgot to do that. So yeah, thank you for being here. Um, and yeah, I hope you're doing well. If you'd like to come up, you're always welcome to. If not, you can always chill with us. Um, let's see. We have old guy in the building. Good morning to you, old guy, or good afternoon, your Eastern time zone. Hello, toxic waifu. Dr. Drip in the house. We have Rustan, AJ. Good. I think it is good almost a good night for Kenji because Kenji is all all the way in the Japanese time zones. Good. What's up, Jim? Our grill master. Kanessa, you haven't laid out the grill in a while for Jim. I think that's why he stopped coming
Oh
by.
no, I think
For what it's worth,
so.
it is 1 a.m. in Japan right now.
Jim, you can fight. You can cook on the Millennium Falcon is behind the cantina, and those like engines stay hot. The plasma coolant, like they stay hot 24/7. So you just want to slap some burgers on
Mm-hmm.
that. That'd be great.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Let us know if you need us to fire it up. For, but let's see. Good afternoon, Jared. How was your lunch?
It is good. I haven't eaten all of it yet. I will make sure to use this mute feature more appropriately to spare you guys hearing me munch down on this focaccia. It's fig and brie on focaccia. There's this place. They're only open Saturdays and Sundays. Every week their menu is different. And like I've learned about it because like I was at one restaurant, the one I usually go to, which is like got the best bartenders in town. Food's a little hit or miss, but they were like one of the waiters there was talking about how great this place was. And then I went to like this other restaurant, and like I could hear the person in the kitchen talking about it. I'm like, I gotta fucking check out this restaurant. If like every other like wait staff in this town is talking about how they wish they could be going there right now. So I have gone, and it is fabulous. I recommend. Did I get rugged, or does no one have
Nope,
anything else to
nope.
say? Because I,
We were your words were
Well,
so profound.
you guys like
you
you'd sit there
you said the word.
longer. You'd all like checked out to go do some Discord stuff. I bet.
I think I'm too brown to say this word, the focaccia thing. Delicious. I have a place that sells those sandwiches, and yeah, I kind of go in on those. So like,
Well, it's
yes, please use the
Italian.
mute feature because I'm sure you will moan while munching down on this thing.
Yeah, focaccia is Italian, and um, they were like the last people let in on the white train. So like, I feel like you're fine. You can still say it. And I hope that joke is acceptable because no one cares if you make fun of Italians.
uh, and I want to say hello to Kairos. Thank you for joining us. And also, I believe in the last week it was Kairos's birthday. Or am I tripping?
Oh, if it wasn't within the last week, it was like within the last 10 days. For sure, Kairos had a birthday party fairly recently, maybe even last Sunday.
Yes, yes, at Mary Sharks. I pulled up literally as he left. I was so sad because like I found out that it was his birthday and I was like rushing to get to my computer and I was like, I got here. But and then someone tells me he just popped out. So then I just like sat in the corner in Mary Shark's pool and
Yeah, and Kairos did it. He did it like I don't know which cultures it's more common where you give instead of receive, but like he was just giving away presents on his birthday. I was just like, okay, deal. It's not how I would have done it. I petitioned everyone for a week to send me stuff. He's out here just being goddamn Santa Claus on his own birthday like a gentleman.
like a true gentleman. Pinky up, pinky up,
He
for
also got me to
sure.
join the Facebook mode
Uh,
Discord, so he was helping help Mary Shark finally get my lazy butt to join another Discord.
good, good. Now, now, and I didn't even know there was a Face Moon Discord. Hold up, I need to join this.
I also, to be fair, everyone has a Discord. Here, I'll link it in Decentraland's chat for you. That's the Face Moon one. Oh, I guess I could also just invited you directly here too. Here you go. I'll
Yeah,
also send you an invite in
thank you, sir.
Discord.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank
Because
you,
yeah,
thank
I
you.
agree. Like Mary Shark
Uh,
is the kind of person we should be, supporting. They've been in DCL grinding as long as many of us, and when they got a grant and then they're granted it and they're still doing stuff, which is honestly that's the real test of a DCL creator. Did you get a grant? Awesome, congrats. Oh, did you stay when it ended? You're a G. You are welcome to the cookout.
yes, yes. I mean, well, I mean, the thing is, like, from a creative standpoint, like, if you're having fun and this is what you really like to do, it's like you wouldn't mind doing it for free, but you also would extra wouldn't mind if you got some funds for it, you know? So, I mean, either way, it's like a win-win. Like for myself with like my shows and shit like that, like what was it? I went like a year, was it a year? Around there, almost 2 years after the grant, still hosting the shows, still actually like doing exactly what I was doing while I was uh on my grant, and yeah,
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Yeah,
I,
that's you are
it was more
the
like
role
fun.
model. And also, like, I know that this Twitter space existed before your grant, but I do feel like this Twitter space alone, I feel like is worthy of funding and respect. So yeah, you are an ideal role model for a DCL grant recipient. Though there will never be any more grant
Why,
recipients.
why, thank you. But the other day we had the conversation on the best. Am I the best?
No, I mean, I admittedly, when you said I
I'm
still
kidding.
couldn't think of a better one to like point to. No, that's not true. I thought of no, the in-world builder. Good. Last one's not here to hear you say, but just the assets alone, the fact that like we can go to this repository, I can download KJ Walker assets, Nikki Fuego, Doctor Drip, Odd Job. Like, there's so many like talented, creative people who we can just get their work and use it in a build, and they're all like better optimized than the ones in the Creator Hub already. Not all of them. Black Node got a little out of pocket with a couple triangle counts, and the NPCs I'm told are meant for worlds, not for my one by one, and that's why they're 4,000 triangles. But it's that one is I think a great example of a money well spent. At least the
Oh,
portion of that grant that went to asset creation.
oh my God. And I mean, how about the fact that it's still working? That shit's fire.
Yeah, yeah. And the fact that like
uh,
Last Dribble still goes in and updates it, does stuff, like it's still working on it too. Listen, Blastrom, we all know he can be a little prickly around the edges sometimes, but god damn it, if the man is still doing it, passionate, you gotta respect that, even though sometimes he articulates himself almost as poorly as I manage to articulate myself when trying to convey his thoughts.
uh, yeah. So I mean, how's your since Lastrum came in the conversation, and every time I think Lastrum, I think pizzas. How any efforts, or have you moved forward on your delivery game quest, or
Yeah, well,
still in the concept stage?
I just finished. Like, I got a V1 version of the pizza build is now live. There's a KJ Walker NPC from the in-world builder assets there, so I've got that live. I'm officially ready to go into the part where I have to learn, and reach out to last trip so I can do the code part. Which I also probably hit up old guy or one existence also because it's basically going to be very much using the same tech from the Easter egg hunt. I just want to also add maybe some dialogue bubbles and kind of but I have made some progress. I also reached out to I sent KJ a Twitter DM. I get the impression KJ doesn't check her Twitter DMs that often. I asked a couple other artists just to see how much would it cost them to either make me a high quality pizza place, and for KJ specifically like an NPC, because everyone else I asked about an NPC basically said, "Oh, you should ask KJ Walker about that part."
A- ask her on Ask her on Discord.
Yeah, I should do
Or
that,
Jared,
but
there's also you are a Doki fan, and Doki got a grant to create all of those components to create NPCs, and she did, and I don't think anybody's ever used it, but it should be in the GitHub repository, and you can take and mix and match Doki's designs to create your own NPC, and
If
you'd be like the only one that has like a Doki
if
NPC.
anyone can provide that link, wanted it. I've thought about that for ages, and I just I don't go. I can't spend that much time looking for something. I get over
I
it
also have
quickly.
no experience with the GitHub, but I would agree that in my, in my quest to level up as a DCL creator, I suppose feeling comfortable finding things in the the DCL GitHub would probably be a good level up. So I will look into that. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll
because I mean
ask her
it's
if she knows where I can find it.
yeah, and it was, it was paid. I want to say it was like $25,000 to create that, and so it would be cool to see it get used. And I know like she would post updates. Some of the outfits were really cool, and I wish they were wearables in Decentraland. So it's like you could get Doki's wearable style with like it would just be cool. I've meant to use it before, and I think she was like going to make a tutorial. I'm not sure if she did, and I'm trying to find the link. So if I can, I will send that to you.
Yeah, I just asked her if she happens to know where her
Oh, okay,
AC GitHub
yeah.
folder is. Oh, I imagine she does.
Yeah, and there is like a catalog through all of like DAO funded projects. I think it should maybe be like like a JC Penny catalog from 1988 where it shows you all the pretty pictures, and then you can
Sure, if
like
she happens to know where.
shop with your eyes and see, oh, I could do that. Like, because I think
Oh,
we know it's there, but we just don't utilize it. Because there's also Punk Pink made an entire I want to say like 700 assets that you could take and mix and match to create your own wearables if you don't know how to make wearables. And I don't think I've never seen anybody utilize that.
That's
So
the other
no,
one. That's another one I wanted
yeah,
to find. I seriously have.
yeah, like it would be cool. I don't know, maybe there's reasons that people haven't like accessed these. For me, the v like the NPC VRM, it's like downloading it. I can't even say the word, so definitely I'm going to struggle doing it. Downloading the VRM and then rigging it to do what you want, and then I assume it's all optimized because you might get one, you might have an empty parcel with a really beautiful NPC, and
And
then you're like 9,999 triangles.
I take that back. I think I did find the punk pink one,
okay.
but I didn't know what to do with it. I think I maybe did download a few assets, but
So I,
I don't think it came out exactly the way they had wanted it
so I
to be done. But I know it is there.
the Doki didn't link me to a GitHub file, but she did link me to a Google Drive, which then came with the there is a tutorial in it. There's a folder with the tutorial step 1, step 2, um, which I haven't even gotten to watch with those obviously. But then there's also just the files. There's just one giant blend file to download. So I will I will be the canary down the coal mine to make sure that's not a virus, which it isn't, because Doki definitely didn't link me to a virus. But
Send
I
me
guess I
that
could.
too, please.
Okay.
And I just posted a link in World. It's a GitHub. It's called the NPC library, and it has a collection of tools for creating NPCs capable of having conversations with the player, different animations. So you can start a conversation with clicked or walking near, trigger any action. I don't know that this is Doki's like the physical NPC, but it looks like the programming you would need to make it an NPC actionable, I guess.
And the other thing I have no idea how to do, but probably isn't that hard for like a wizard like Dr. Drip, is to give them basic animations. Because like one cool thing about the in-world builder NPCs is when you like bring them into Creator Hub, they have like 3 or 4 preset animations. Like the one I grabbed has like a chatting animation, so he like always looks like he's talking. And there's also like, but they're like I think intended more for like anime style gaming stuff. So they have like dead animations and like victory celebrations, which aren't as relevant for a man trying to send you around town with pizza. But it's super handy that it's not just like a T posing model, which is what any NPC I do create will end up looking like to start with.
And Sin, you've got your hand up. I don't. Is it supposed to be? You're waiting
Yes.
very patiently.
Yes, I was being very patient to kind of flex. Nah, so we went live on Party, and at the moment if you were to go to party.com, uh, like literally the first cat or second category you see would be live now, and we are the second ones like in that list right now. So yay, big
Let's go fucking.
with 85. Yes, we are definitely fucking right now. We are definitely fucking. Uh, let's see. Which I've been trying to figure out how the party numbers kind of work. If it's kind of like how Twitter is, it's like 85 views or 85 viewers. It doesn't look like there's 85 viewers, at least in the chat. Um, but yeah, like we got 85. Let's go. And that's second place to Shade Smoke 420, who has 150.
What's the URL?
For what?
Party?
Party? It's just party.com, PARTI.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because PARTY.com says it's for sale. Okay, good.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, I kind of was raising my hand because it was slightly off topic, or maybe completely off topic. But I think this would be a good opportunity to introduce our new speaker here. I see Summit came up to speak. Welcome. I believe it's your first time.
Oh, hey man. I'm sorry if my voice is not so good. I just bought a new speaker, new headphones today. Trying to speak, but for me, yeah, it's my first time here. I just saw like community building part of the space, and I love it. So I have been doing like community building thing for like years. It's been 2 years. Worked for a lot of DeFi projects, worked for a lot of blockchains, GameFi projects. I help them like building the communities. Also help them working with the BD things. So yeah, when I see this the community building thing, I just come up, listen to what you guys say, the opinions, and if I have something, I just share it with you guys. If that's fine, that's like very short about me.
Well, thank you for coming up. It's very nice to meet you. Yeah, Canessa and I have been hosting these community building Decentraland X spaces since May of 2022. Just like keep the grind going every single week, and we basically just come together. We start off by bullshitting about birds and penguins, and then or donuts, and then maybe we'll get into the nitty gritty, like the start talking about Decentraland, how we maybe talk about any ideas that we may have to improve our favorite metaverse platform, or just even like speak about other platforms, like what they're doing and how their technology could be something that will improve the future of the overall space. And yeah, we're just always here, happy to meet people. And yeah, I mean, hope you hope you follow us, and yeah, join us for future community building Decentraland X spaces, and maybe even join us on Decentraland sometime. You'll get to meet some of our friends. Right now we're hanging out at La Cantina uh, on Decentraland, and yeah, we're streaming this X space into the scene, and we have a few friends here that are listening in that are in the X space here. Like let's see, I see Audio Hot Labs and Hugh Pow. Kairos. So, it's always fun to see our friends on either in world or here in space.
For sure, man. I'll join the spaces. Like I have gathered a lot of information, a lot of things in my experience, of 4 years. So I'm just curious and very excited to share all the things and know all your opinions. So for sure, I'll join the spaces for you guys. Love it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And have you ever been on Decentraland?
Um, like it's my first time.
Well, it's your first time here in the space, but I'm speaking about like Decentraland, the metaverse platform.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it streaming with my friends.
Ah, I see. You've never been?
Nah, bro.
Well, maybe sometime give it a try. You may meet some friends.
Doing it right now.
Oh
Oh,
well,
you're downloading the client?
yeah. I was curious. I was
Yeah.
gonna ask, are you using the old browser one, or are you gonna use the new client hotness? Because I'm just curious, what from a new person perspective, what they're doing.
Well, he won't see people if he does the old way.
That is, I was gonna also mention that, but I was just curious because like if you don't, because I mean they do have like three pop-ups that like try their hardest to stop you from entering on the browser side, but like I'm always curious like my personal, as a person who doesn't read most pop-ups thoroughly, I just naturally assume and project onto all people that no one's reading pop-ups very well, and they're just kind of slowly closing them until they can just go onto the browser, or if they're actually like, oh, I should use the client now, and then what they do there. Because I mean, I know in Web3, we're all extra paranoid about downloading things onto our computer because it's like 2002, and we've got LimeWire, and we're about to download a Trojan onto our mom's computer. I don't know where I got that idea from, but
Oh my God, what the extents that we would go just to be able to pirate Nelly's new song. Um
yeah,
so I have a question. Who is
I don't know
Authentic
where I got
Baboon
that idea
in
from, but
the in Party? Because that name Oh my is God, actually what
mm,
pretty the elite.
mm,
extents that we would go just to be
I
able to
like I don't.
pirate
We're gonna have to get he
Nelly's new
knows gaming
song.
up here to speak
Um
for the party scene. I
so
don't know any of
I,
that.
I have a
Uh,
question. Who is
I don't know
Authentic
where
Baboon in
I feel
the
like it may be
in
one of our
Party?
friends,
Because that
like
name
that just
Oh my
joined
is
party,
actually pretty
and
elite. And it gives you like a random name.
we're gonna have to get. But if
Nelly's
that's
new
a random
song.
name, that's a really great
It
party scene.
is
I
So
don't know any of
because
that.
I
I have
get,
a
and I don't
question.
know why this
Who
is, but
is
anytime they
Authentic
do these kinds of things,
Baboon
I always
in
end up
I
with
feel
one
like
that
it
the
may
ends
be
in
one of our
donkey,
friends,
like
that
eccentric
name
that
donkey.
just
is
joined party,
and it gives you like
oh
a
my
random
lord.
name.
Oh, that's hilarious. But I think I
It
just saw that
is
we were up to
because
one
I
or two
get, and I
viewers.
don't know why
We're
this is,
moving up in
but
the world,
anytime they
everyone in
do
the
these
party
kinds of
world.
things, I always end up with one
At
that ends
least
in
till
donkey,
Sneeko
like
or
eccentric
Jack
donkey.
Dorsey or whatever his name is gets online.
Oh
Then
my
after that,
lord.
we may become
Oh, that's
irrelevant all
hilarious.
over again.
But I
But
think I
It
just saw that
is
we
let's
were
enjoy the
up to
because
one
time
I
or two
while
get,
we have
and
it.
I
viewers.
don't know why
We're
this
moving
is,
What
up
but
in
I
the
want to
world,
talk
anytime they
everyone
do
in
about,
the
these
party
kinds of things,
because it
world.
I
occurred to
always
me
end
this
up with
week,
one
at
that ends
least
in
till
donkey.
Sneeko or Jack Dorsey or whatever his name is gets online.
Oh
Then
my
after
lord.
that, we may become
Oh, that's
irrelevant all
hilarious.
over again.
But
But
I think I
It
just saw
is
that we
let's
were
enjoy
up
the
to one
because
time
or
I
two
while
get,
we we
and
have
I,
it.
and
viewers.
I don't know why
We're
this is,
moving
but
up in the
anytime
world,
they do
everyone
these
in the
kinds of
party
things, I
world.
always end up with one that ends in
At least till
donkey.
Sneeko or Jack Dorsey or whatever his name is gets online. Then after that, we may become
Oh, that's
irrelevant all
hilarious.
over again.
But
But
I think I just saw that we
let's
were
enjoy
up
the
to one
time
or two
while we have it.
viewers. We're moving up in the world, everyone in the party world.
There's a thing to do. East
At
Coast
least
time.
till
All my times are gonna be East
Sneeko
Coast time.
or
There's stuff
Jack
to do. Like
Dorsey or
Monday's
whatever
not too
his
bad. We got on Mondays
gets
going on. There's
online.
like
Then
a
after
couple
that,
things, but I
we
feel
may
like we could
become
really just need to
irrelevant
like
all over again.
as a community, like
Let's
attack
enjoy
this
the
and just
time while we
refill
have
the
it.
calendar. Because like back in 2022, 2023, we'd have 1 to 3 baby doll events. DG'd be doing events. There'd be something to do, or something like you could at least point to. Like in 2 hours, that'll be happening. But like on Wednesdays nowadays, there ain't shit to do in Decentraland. Like unless
So what
2022,
days, like
2023,
what
we'd have
days
one to
are
three
the
baby doll
most meaty?
events.
Because I feel like
DG'd be doing events.
Saturday,
Thursday.
Saturday, Monday, Friday are like pretty good. Like
Friday
I don't know,
needs like a one earlier in the day consistent event, I feel
Tuesday.
like.
So Tuesday is Toxic Tuesdays. So I guess like, is there anything on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday?
No, there's nothing consistent on those. And I think, and
Because
honestly, and I also think that every like Friday and Tuesdays need like they need an earlier in the day event too. Like not one I wouldn't probably be able to make it to most of the time with work or whatever, but like we need like the whole like in the perfect world, the whole week would just be covered. Like every single minute you'd be able to be like, oh yeah, like you can go there at this time, or there would be something. Like we got Silvio. He's in the crowd here. Like he's been doing lots of like pop-up parties, but like no official events. So I'd love to get him to just like lock in 1 hour at least a week, and we can be like, well, on Wednesdays at this time we go party with Silvio because he's bringing it. Though obviously I wouldn't want to limit Silvio because I love the fact that he's just will be there all day every day for like a week at a time sometimes.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like with Silvio, like at one point I started feeling bad because I felt like I was like not finding his events. I was not supporting his events. I'd be like, just chilling and seeing on X that everyone was like at Silvio's spot, and I'd be like, what the fuck? I missed an event. I like, I want Silvio to feel welcomed, and the I don't know. I felt like a dick for a second, but maybe it's because he doesn't schedule his events. Is that the
Yeah,
case?
I don't think he's ever actually posted an official like quote unquote event. I think he's just kind of like, you know what, I feel like doing it, and he turns it on, and then they go. And then he also like Mohidi. I think they like he only recently got his new, so like he's definitely much like all of us. It's just a one man team, contracting out to people he can to get some help along the way. So like it's hard to do everything all the time. So he's definitely still just getting up to speed on being the spot to chill. But if you haven't gone to an audio hot lab, like I'm not big into electronica in general, but I think he always has great vibes, and like he manages to be electronica music without doing all of the things I find annoying that trigger my audio related issues. But yeah, but we got to get him locked in. We got to get him to pick a spot. He can still do all the rest of the random funds, but we got to get him locked in. So we got to. I just want to see the calendar filled out a little bit more, so we can really like point to things.
Well, and I think it's really like it's helpful to do events at different times. Like for me personally, like on Mondays is like the perfect time because the Munchkins are still in school. Like I definitely don't like I have to just as a parent I have to balance my time, make sure that they don't see me spend all my day on Decentraland. They see me spend my day on Fortnite, but like let's not judge. But like an event in the middle of the day for me is it's like the perfect time to I don't know. It's just like in the U.S. time zone, it actually works out really well to be there. And then I know that one especially like it's a different group of people just because it works really conveniently for like the Europe time zone. So I think if people are wanting to do an event like but maybe they're like, I don't know if this is too early or too late. Like, I'd say go for it. I know Rustan usually does like earlier events, which also work out really well. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, if people need help, just it's a lot. Like, it is definitely a lot of work just to like make the event, make the little cute thumbnail, make sure it fits in the event page, and this and that. So,
Oh yeah,
I
no,
like it.
totally. And
I,
I would love to see
I,
because like obviously too DJs should get paid and all that. And listen, and the DAO has spent so much money on events for DJs. I feel like we could probably cordon up some amount of money to pay people, and like because we also don't even every show doesn't need to be a live show. Like we can fund the creation of 100 pre-made hour-long sets, and then distribute those to landowners who want to host events, and then they can kind of have some content to cycle through while still also doing live events when we can. But I want to see people paid. I understand I want to see events happening, and I understand people aren't just going to do everything for free. So
Well, and I think we need to also like dig deeper on what we can do for events, like because that's one of my biggest. Yeah, I get really like I have expressed it definitely that in order, yeah, to be active here, you kind of have to just be willing to give your money away because it costs money to pay, all of the different things for a party. But then I'm also like in a battle with myself of like, okay, Canessa, that's the only way you can hold an event. Like, come on, get real, like get creative. Like, so personally, I'm trying to challenge myself of like, hey, you don't need to have a DJ to have an event. Like, there's people that do that really well. You know, like I don't need to be reinventing the wheel because there's already really talented DJs who, you know, are on the schedule. So like, why not make, like you did the parkour, that didn't cost anything. Like trivia wouldn't cost anything. Escape rooms wouldn't cost, I mean, I'm saying wouldn't cost anything, like if you could build it yourself. So I think that like that's where I'm just kind of challenging myself of like, do more. Like I actually have like a whole agenda in my head of, but I haven't been able to articulate it very well in a way that I can explain it to others. But pretty much creating builds that would be considered like evergreen builds that like you don't need to have a group of people there to enjoy. You don't need to have like a specific event to go enjoy it. Like, yes, maybe you only go there once and then you're like an art gallery. Unless the art changes out, you're going to go there, experience it once, and then you're probably good for a while until like a new user comes and they're like, well, what can I see? And you're like, oh, let me show you this art gallery. But I think we need more things like that, just to, like you said, pack the schedule, but not just a schedule, pack like content, like have
No,
more
yeah,
stuff.
totally. I agree with you. Evergreen's for
Nobody
sure important. I agree with that.
nobody's gonna want to come and see my beautiful museums, but I'm so excited about them. I'm gonna be like the only person. But that's okay. Like that's the beauty of it. I can put in shit that matters to me.
Which is why I love. That's why I love my the pizza my pizza game idea, my delivering pizza around TCL. It's like evergreen content, like you said. The goal right now is just to get a bad game that can be played, and then once that happens, I can make it a fun game and make it better. But yeah, like I agree with you. We just need some more stuff to do, and it's not like, and I don't know, it occurred to me, like I always talk about how much I hate like the land poachers who are just hoarding their land and then not waiting for other people to make it value. And I was like, well, how much am I doing to actually provide value? Though admittedly, I only became a land baron recently. Baron, I'm probably not in baron status yet, but
Yeah, I think that hits the nail on the head. It's like the more land that you have, the more you're like, wow, okay, now I haven't done much. Even though I might have made a build on this parcel of land, like I've got all this land sitting there. Actually, if anybody does art, wants to have an art gallery, I would love to make something where like connecting a bunch of art galleries together, make like a art trail so that you could go and go on a guided tour. So I need to like do like get a little bit of it started first, but if people want to show what they have done, hit me up. Ruston, I'm looking at you. No, I'm kidding. Ruston's like, he doesn't need my silly little art trail, but I think it would be cool. I think we also are missing like just discoverability. Like there are cool stuff out there, but unless you have somebody that like is encouraging you to go, or if you go to like the ABCs does a great job of getting to these different places, it's kind of like you just have to find it on your own, which I think is exactly what they wanted to do when they created this thing, this whole world, because they were inspired by Burning Man. And like, if you know the stories of Burning Man, you just walk along and you find crazy shit out in the middle of the desert. And I know Yamel has said, like, he's talked about, like, do we even want to teleport anymore? Like, he's considered, like, should we have teleporting? Because if you had to walk everywhere, you would find such crazy stuff out in the middle of Decentraland. I don't know. My virtual feet would get tired.
yeah, I do agree.
Can you imagine having to walk to your land? Like,
Oh, good Lord. Oh yeah, no, what I told him is like, in because of course I'm going to take it back to Fortnite. Like in Fortnite there's gliders and you can glide, like you can use them to get a distance, but they're limited. You can only use it for like, this, you can glide for 10 seconds and then you got to let it cool down. So there are other ways, like there are other forms of mobility that would let you cross the map fast and actually way more fun. Can you imagine if we had Icarus wings here? We'd be like flying everywhere.
yeah,
And maybe you
yep.
have to
And the
recharge it. Maybe you go to a certain like parcel to recharge it. Like, yeah.
Yeah, me being me, I would just like be like using it and be like, "Oh, look, a shiny object," and then land and explore it, and
Yeah,
so
yeah. I don't know.
yeah, those types of mobility or transportation or locomotive, whatever. Those are some pretty good ideas. And AJ, I am pressing the approve button to let you up, but I don't know, it's not reacting.
Oh no, I approve too, but it's not working.
Maybe it's AJ having issues connecting. I don't know.
Aja, maybe try leaving the space and coming back. Oh no, maybe it worked. Hey,
Oh, they're
good
here.
morning.
I'm on desktop, so it's always kind of wonky. Um,
But you sound so good.
oh, awesome. Well, I'm not walking. I went on a walk earlier. It's prom night, so I gotta clean up the house. I gotta do some yard work and stuff. So, it's been delightful to listen so far. Missed you guys. I've been busy the last couple of weeks. But I heard tours and I heard ABC and Jared mentioned Land Baron and all that sort of thing. But I wanted to come up and say, like, one of the I'd say the some of the most fun experiences I've had in doing tours for the last 3 years. This past week was our 3-year anniversary for ABC Decentraland Adventures. Our official like 3-year party is coming up. Billy and I are still planning it, but oh, we're not having it tonight because by the time we would have the tour, it'll be Sunday in Australia where Billy is, and he's going to be celebrating Mother's Day with his mom and his grand. So we're not having it this week. One of the few weeks that we haven't had it in the last 3-year history. Um, but just to get back to what we were talking about, evergreen content and whatever. Some of the most fun is just like when we do wander around and we discover things. We went back to Dragon City, and you know how there's that huge wall, so they have all of the builds up on a hill. They've got sort of a train and it just sort of like ends. And there's like, I don't know, like a 50-meter wall. Um, and we tried to jump from that onto this cylindrical building that was across the street. So it was like, I don't know, 3 parcels away. And I'm like, fuck it, we can't do it. Um, and then I can't remember who actually did it. I'd have to go back and look at the tape, or if somebody in the audience remembers. But Rustan was there, um, Toxic was there, Jared, I think you were there. Anyway, if you remember who did it, but it's like, you know, that sort of thing. I'm a big fan of what's called transformative play. Decentraland is built and designed with a certain set of tools and rules and variables, but then finding the edge cases, literally the edge cases. So you go to the edge of the world and you jump off and then you fall forever, or just weird shit. I What attracted me to Billy was he set up a he set up an AI basically to try to run to 69,696 by 69,000. He basically wanted to run to 6969 by 6969 on the map in Decentraland. So this was before there was an ocean, and he damn near got it. But he noticed a glitch. It used to be that you could run forever until you ran out of virtual RAM or whatever. So I love doing shit like that. So yes, please. Um, if you I think the floor last week got down to like $87 for a single parcel in Decentraland. And that's in the middle of fucking nowhere. Um, but yeah, it was like, don't worry, Kness. It was there for like a minute and then it like shot back up. So every now and then there's like a market test. Um, but yeah, you can get land pretty cheaply right now. So for the benefit of everybody in Decentraland, I'd say the easiest thing to do is to go into those asset libraries that you guys were mentioning earlier. The Doki or the Punk Pink or the In-World Builder, the IWB, or even some of the old stuff, or just go to Sketchfab or whatever. Just find some crazy shit and drop it on a parcel. That's like the easiest thing to do. And that yeah, that's like the lowest hanging fruit. Like you don't even have to make a parkour, just make something weird, like an ode to your grandma who used to make, I don't know, pumpkin buttered biscuits or whatever, and like put a biscuit tin in there. And just make the world a little weirder and a little more fun to explore and discover. Because we create the meaning ourselves out of things that come for our own experiences, and it's that time that we have to spend with each other that is the most valuable asset. It's the greatest utility that we can give each other.
I love that, odd job. Yeah, I feel like we're definitely at a moment where people are building. Like I've seen, I think like One Exists, you've really been inspiring, like just jumping in, like you, old guy, Jared, lots of people just like trying things that maybe are harder than usual. And I think that like if we can all do that in our own little way, like in the way that just calls to you, like if one person went and figured out how to use Doki's NPCs, then everybody else could tap that person, be like, "Hey, how'd you do it? Like, do you have any tips?" And then if one other person goes and figures out how to, I don't know, do some kind of creative thing in the builder, like we can lean on each other, and I think we'll all grow faster because of that. So yeah, it'd be cool to make some kind of like, I don't know, pledge or initiative, or just do it and just be like, I mean, just do it for the fun of it. But
I'm I'm gonna shout out old guy again for what he's been doing. He helped me early this morning with something very frustrating that ended up being something simple, and the only thing I didn't think of, because we started off and he mentioned several things that I had tried already, and it ended up being just it had to do with texts on some titles of books for a build I have, and some of them every didn't matter what I did. Whenever I deployed it into world, a few of them the text would just be way too big, and it ended up deleting the deleting that smart item and then adding it back in and just starting it over. So shout out to him again. I know he helped a lot of people during the Easter hunt too. So that's always appreciated. And happy 3rd year anniversary.
The old guy is lovely, and it's kind of embarrassing for the rest of us that the most well informed like dude on how the tech works in many ways is the old guy. Like stereotypes have led me to believe we should be helping him set his microwave clock. Okay, why is he the one showing me how to do everything? So we got to step it up, guys. The 40
I
and under crowd, you got the 50 and under crowd, even like guys, we gotta 30 and under. Where are the 20-year-olds to show us how it's done? Doki, get back here.
I thought that same thing this morning, Jared. I'm like, we're the old people. We're not supposed to be showing people how to do stuff.
But yeah, no, props to him. And then also, like, and he's coming through hard with the events too. Like, and he's also doing a good job of, as Knesset said, of finding ways to brainstorm lower cost events. Like, hey, we discovered Decentraland lets you teleport players a million meters in the sky. Let's make a skydiving event, so to speak, or a dropping out of the sky event. He's cooking up a new idea, was similarly with that, which is going to involve some code. I won't spoil it because I never know. I'm always like, as soon as I have an idea, let me tell you about it. I do believe the correct strategy is to wait until it's a little bit more well cooked and closer to presentation before you tell it. But I assure you, old guy still cooking. Even though the grill might, even when the grill's off, old guy's cooking. So don't but yeah, so props to him. I think he's exactly, he is a role model in many ways about the best ways to engage with the community and be the change you want to see. So And I think that, yeah, all the love for old guy. I mean, his poor wife, though, that poor woman, she deserves better. And I promise, old guy thinks that joke is funny. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said it. But yeah, but no, I love old guy. He's a nice fellow.
So to create sort of a challenge, because I love challenges. I love gamifying stuff. I do it with my students all the time. Um, I think just creating some sort of like what you did, existence, um, with the Easter egg hunt. One of the things that Billy and I did, and this was a foundation sponsored or co-sponsored event or whatever. We did what's called a rebus puzzle, and it's basically when you put pictures and letters and numbers together to create like a common phrase or an idiom or something like that. Um, like like a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, or um, crap. Why can't I think of any of the sayings? Um, but basically it was a saying like that, like a common saying. Um, like don't count your eggs before they hatch, something like that. And we just use assets from the in-world builder, and we place them on different parcels. Um, and we had a route, and we went from one spot to the next, and I think MetaTiger guessed it first. Um, which English is not his native language, but he totally kicked our ass. Everybody else there, so he guessed it first. But yeah, it's just like uh, leveraging the assets that you have. Um, I think if we could have like a brainstorming session to just come up with more ideas like that, and you guys are already doing it, but I just really like to encourage people, like uh, um, if you have the means to get a parcel, um, like, oh, what was it, like 3.5, almost 4 years ago now, when I first came into Decentraland, and it was like uh, what was man at that point? Canas was like $3. It was a lot.
It was
But
550 at the
what?
top. It was like 550 at the top in like
Okay, yeah.
November 2020.
Yeah, it was like that for like a minute or something. But yeah, it was it was crazy. But then it was like, to get anything done, to get any traction, before we had CBD, before we had this network of people, before we had this Twitter space, and before we knew each other, um, you needed to be landed gentry. I felt like a second class citizen in Decentraland. Um, and I didn't know jack shit about anything. Um, I remember the New Year's Eve party from 2021 to 2022, and just failing miserably at parkour. Um, but the more people, even if it is a single parcel, and I know, Canessa, you have thoughts about only buying a single parcel because it greatly limits you. But it's like, I think the floor today is like 125, and that has to do with Ethereum price going up, which is a good thing. But yeah, if you at all can, um, consider consider getting a parcel, because then it's like you're there. It gains you a lot of access. Like Sinful was talking to the newcomer earlier. It's like, if you've got an Ethereum, um, an ENS name, an Ethereum name, then you've got land in Decentraland. And when I was at Farcaster at FarCon, um, I told people that, and it blew their fucking minds. I'm like, yeah, you've already got a world in Decentraland. You've got an ENS. You've got an Ethereum naming system, .eth, whatever name. So like, maybe that's like the point of entry, to get people, but uh, it needs to be the lowest barrier to entry. I really like the way this discussion is going. What you were saying earlier, Canessa and Existence, just about finding those edge cases. So that's all I wanted to say, was like a challenge. Just like, if you're not a landowner, maybe consider owning. Even you don't want to own land, get yourself a .eth name, a .eth username, and then you've got a world, or a DCL .eth name, then you've got a world. or better yet, in world, because I think that is the secret sauce that Decentraland has over any of these other places. Is its its adjacency, its contiguous map, it's that in-world discoverability. Um, Sometimes when I don't have time to like pre-plan a route or spots, I'm just like, well, let's just go here and let's run. Old guy's actually very good about giving me ideas, going to places and whatever, and some other people have sent in ideas. But yeah, just drop yourself somewhere into Decentraland and wander. And that can only happen in Decentraland because everything else is like you gotta wait for a load screen. And I think it's part of the beauty of Decentraland. So let's utilize that as an asset. Get yourself a parcel, find some weird model, create some lore around it, and throw it up there. Just use your creativity, and then boom, you've already got people moving around in a space, um, and doing it together. That's that shared experience. I really do think that that is um, the magic, or the secret sauce for Decentraland.
I think so because it's like there's a lot of places like this out there that, like Gorilla Tag, Animal Company, both are VR based and you
Yep.
can go around, you can be with people, but and then they have like the UGC content that you can create. So when we get VR capabilities, I think that like we'll still have something different. The open land is something that like that is what we need to lean into because that's what sets us apart from all of the other, online virtual games because yeah, I just don't think we should compete with um with platforms that just aren't they're not the same. It's like we don't have to compete with them because we're just so different. But that right there is like, what does Decentraland do different? And it's that open land, that open, explorable landscape. Like I love running around and I'll still find new stuff. And I'm like, what
Yep.
the heck? Like, how could I just find this for the first time? Because like I'll just run randomly. Um, and I think that that's yeah, you hit the nail on the head. That's the magic sauce. But I think we do have to like challenge ourselves to just to get something done, get something
Oh,
new.
for sure.
Like that's just my own. I'm just talking from my own
Yeah,
standpoint.
I'm not saying rest on laurels. I'm just saying take that and leverage that. I start to wonder, it's like, whatever happened to other side?
Yeah,
um,
I was just talking about that yesterday. Like,
and M3 and like all these things that are just, oh, the whatever bust on us. Props out to Ash and to Hyperfy. If you guys are, I know a lot of people here are Hyperfy curious or Hyperfy maxis. Um, but still, I think that yeah, definitely, Canessa. Don't rest on our laurels. Let's push the envelope. But I think, um, stay curious and try to. I don't know. That's why I don't have any short pithy thing like, let's get 50 people um signed up for delegation or whatever it was, and that had certain positive effects. But um I honestly think because everything is so cheap in terms of land, it's like, get yourself a parcel, start fucking around and finding out. um and we'll arrive at something, right? Like, it shouldn't just be old guy and Jared, who are doing the FAFO or one existence. It should be all of us. You allow, I've said this before, allow 1,000 flowers to bloom, and it's through that diversity and that creativity that we'll find the next big thing.
it'd be really cool is to have like a festival, like a like we're gonna have the CBD birthday come up, but what if it was even like the community and arts festival, like and just I don't know, like have like a multi-day thing where anybody can like showcase something, but like sometimes I know personally if I don't have a deadline, it just kind of gets put on my desk with all the other really shiny things and I forget. And like a deadline because I was like, that's why I think I got the Mardi Gras build done, because I had to get it done. So like knowing that about myself, that that's kind of like a toxic trait, or just like whatever, that's how I operate. Like a deadline would really help me get something like done. And so it'd be cool if everybody, almost like the World's Fair, you know how like the World's Fair comes
Yes.
together, that would be really cool. And then maybe it would be like one reason to for people to like populate. And then when you're building something and you kind of have that creative energy but you get stuck, so you go to the Discord chat and other people are in there, they're kind of at different points. Like sometimes that just, that energy is infectious. So I don't know, the Decentraland World's Fair, maybe that's what we need this summer or something.
That would be
What
so cool. I agree with Kanasa.
what if we people were to reach out to people that are not into Decentraland, that they know are artists, and see if they would, if you have a good enough relationship, they're interested in having their stuff put on display in Decentraland. That would at least bring them in, and hopefully some of the people, some of their fans.
That would be amazing. One exist. And like, I don't know if I just need to get out of the woods more, but like I was in the city this last week and I was so inspired by the public art, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they should put this in Decentraland. And then I was like, oh my gosh, they should put this in Decentraland. So I think I'm like a hillbilly where all I see is trees, so I just don't even.
It's what sold Rustan on Decentraland, if I recall correctly.
Have you guys checked out Rodeo? And welcome, Julia Sky. I think I just started following you, but you came up as speaker, so I just wanted to welcome you and say hello and give you an opportunity to speak. But before I drop
Hey,
out,
AJ.
hi.
I really resonated with what you said about the ENS. That's kind of what pulled me into Decentraland. This is my .eth account. I have juliasky.eth.soul.bitcoin.tez everything. So that I was like, oh, I have to get my land also, you know.
But in terms of like finding a group of artists, I know Rustan has posted on Rodeo. It's think of like Instagram, but instead of liking artwork or liking content, you basically buy it, and it's super simple. It was like all open on the blockchain. Now they've sort of like privatized it, but it's you still own it, right? It's not a walled garden, but it's I guess sufficiently decentralized is a term that you could use for it. But it's like it's so easy to see so many different pieces of artwork. Um, it's an unlimited mint, but only for 24 hours, so it's a limited time. Um, I know Jared knows about it, and Jared wanted to come in and buy some of Rustan's pieces, so I happily sold some of the extra ones that I had to Jared for 5x, and I've been able to flip some other pieces of artwork for 5x and 10x. And I've gone through and I've acquired other artwork, but there's some amazing artists in there, and I have a plan and a desire to try to onboard people from Farcaster and Rodeo in Decentraland, but I'm more than happy to share in that bounty. There's loads of incredible artists there. Um, One idea that I was just playing around with is I don't think Genesis.city does the updates anymore. I think the last time they updated their time machine or their snapshots of the overhead whatever was back in January. But to just like place an entire piece of artwork on a single parcel, and then we could just populate the entire map with art. So from a 64,000 foot perspective, you would get, you know, it'd be a certain blurry whatever resolution, but that would just be one way to highlight an artist, is that it gets shown that way. It would certainly show up in the live map on Decentraland. But again, this is just the kind of out of the box type of thought process. Um, you know, an art crawl or a World's Fair. I mean, I love that. Like with something like that, Canessa, we could reach out to each community, and then it would create the necessity. One, it would have a deadline, but it would create the necessity to establish a link, a tie, a person-to-person tie with somebody from that part of the world, and they could have a pavilion anywhere in Decentraland, and then we could just set up a portal. So you go, you hop into a portal, you go to the first place. It could be randomized. Then you hop into the portal on the next spot, and then it takes you to the other one. Or if it's, it'd be harder to coordinate, but we could create, you run from one place to the next um, on the map and visit all the places in the world. I really liking this idea, Kanessa. I'm
Kind of
gonna
like
ruminate on
Epcot
it.
Center. Like Epcot was the middle
Yeah,
where you're supposed to be able to walk to each of these spots. So if there was one central parcel that then you like walk through these teleports, but then make it easy to get back to so that you're not just like, wow, now I'm in, in the middle of nowhere and I don't remember where I was. I mean, I think most regular users would be able to, but it would be neat if it was like easy, like user friendly for people to get around and move around.
that's like the Waypoint backpack that Lastrom started to build out when we were trying to um, make it easier for an ABC tour. So you wouldn't have to be watching Twitch and then see what the coordinates are that we were. You could just like put on your backpack your smart item and then be like, go to where everybody is. I know that Mean Green Doge made that thing with Toxic Waifu, and you got the smartphone where you could just jump to wherever that person is. I know some of that capability is in there or it's being developed or whatever, but I agree. Discoverability and wayfinding is something that I think is often overlooked. Um, but I think we could just lean into the contiguousness of Decentraland, and as you said, like Epcot Center, I really like that analogy because yeah, it is. It's like you could just look across the way and you can see the giant Bucky sphere, or you could see you know um, all the different lands in Epcot Center. I like that.
Because if we could do that, and like if you make something cool for one scene, then you can take that and put it anywhere. Like after a like specific event is over, like you could reskin it. If you make a parkour and it's a pizza parkour, well after that just reskin everything to be like nacho cheese parkour, and then you can be like nacho parkour or not. No, you can't talk about moms, Jared. So not your mom's parkour, but like you could make it so fun and then change it up, reskin it to be like a donut parkour. And like I think looking for quick and efficient ways to keep content fresh too. Like, I mean, I don't have to tell anyone I'm a Fortnite fan, but like, oh my god, they're changing the map. Like this is a 5-week season. The battle pass is 5 weeks. Like they're moving stuff quick, and it has, because it keeps it exciting for the viewer. So I think also like if we looked at that, like how to keep your content kind of like ever changing. Like what if there was something where every time you come to the cantina it's different. Like that might make you really excited to like, oh, I'm going to check out what it looks like today.
Well, you
See,
know that the Giving Tree, it's supposed to grow. Like my initial idea is that it would start out as a sapling and it would grow from like day to day and month to month. And if more people visited it, it would get taller. If less people visited, it would like lose its leaves or whatever. But yeah, having some mechanic on a thing like someone build a plugin so that um the decor of uh your build or your scene changes seasonably so that when it's around Thanksgiving, whatever, or Valentine's Day, the color scheme changes. I agree. And
There's a
having Go ahead.
there's a crypto project, Oddjob, that like I don't know if you've seen it. It's a NFT that's a cute little character, but their mood changes based on the price of the cryptocurrency that they represent. And so like if Bitcoin is down, they'll look really sad. Like what if you had a plugin that made your build like old guy, what if your build was like hooked up to the price of Ripple, and then all of a sudden you're like, you got smoke coming out of the oven, shit is cooking in there, and then other times it's like the paint kind of changes. I mean, that's some crazy stuff. You got my brain going, AJ.
see, I like the idea of like the overall theme and design of the build staying consistent, but like subtle changes that are due to time and event. But like Derek had brought to mind, pointed out something to me. I can't remember exactly how to phrase it, but like the idea that like we take a really cool parkour build, so we do like a lot of fun doing, but because we only own so much land, we then just replace it and it's gone forever. It's like it feels like a fundamental flaw in like Decentraland's kind of design, with like so much of the land just being unused, vacant, or abandoned, and then the like 20 people trying to do stuff are just always replacing the cool content on their property, like with varying degrees of success, because like some parkours are going to be more fun than others. So it's just kind of like I feel like it would be better if we like focus our efforts on making amazing evergreen content, like a pizza place where you can go around to Central and delivering pizza, instead of constantly trying to like make your parcel appeal to the 10 people who played your parkour last week, or whatever small number, because as much as we all love Decentraland, we're all also we have eyes and are aware of the fact that like I think
Well, here's the thing, and Canessa alluded to it earlier about like you really only have to solve the problem once in a space like this, right? So once, and that's the beauty of open source, and that's the beauty of it being decentralized. It's like, um, if you design your parkour with that switchability in mind, let's say each of the platforms, like first it's they're pizzas. So you basically give a platform, and like it's a slice of pizza, um, give it the name platform one, and then you have it access, um, the platforms directory, and then you just swap out the GLBs, the models, so that instead of platforms, let's say it's tea saucers, and then Billy can take that, put it in there, and then get his different platforms. It's a tea saucer, it's a sugar cube, it's a teapot or whatever, and then you've got like a brand new parkour thing, and all you had to do was swap out 20 different assets. Instead of pizza themed stuff, it's Billy T coin themed stuff. um, so you know what I'm saying. It's like it takes a little bit of forethought and pre-planning. um, but then once you have that system in place, then it's super easy. You don't have to, as you're describing, Jared, you don't have to go back and redesign it from scratch. You've designed it with um, uh, you know easily updatability
well,
in
no,
mind,
no, see, because my
from
issue
the
isn't
jump.
the redesigning part. Like, I can enjoy the designing process. My issue is that there's only so many places to showcase this. So, like, once you've changed it, the old thing people enjoyed is dead and gone. And like, instead of like having like a world of 90,000 parcels filled with fun things to do, it's just these same 50 parcels and estates, you know, doing interesting things. So like, we're not actually like we're never offering. There's never an increase in the number of fun things to do, because it's the same places getting reskinned. Is like kind of I guess what
Well,
I'm
I
finding out about.
yeah, I mean, if it were static, if that's all that happened, I would agree. But I think that there's nothing like a brainstorming session, or there's nothing like a creative session to beget more creativity. It's not a static thing, though. I think that starting to design, um, like yours, an old guys event, uh, somebody may see just like one component of that, and that inspires something else. It's a traction kind of thing. I think where we are right now is it's very difficult to gain traction, and I think having any of these ideas, and I'm not yes, I'm saying yes, and Jared, I'm saying yes to what you're advocating and what uh, uh, Vanessa is, and everybody else. It's like uh, to do these things, to try these different things. And what I'm advocating is that once we begin to gain traction, more ideas will come from that. It's not like, well, we try this one thing and that's all we do, because people crave novelty, right? And I think that's part of your argument. And I think because of that genuine desire to gain that novelty, people will automatically begin coming up with new ideas. But we need to gain some momentum. We need to build up a flywheel, as it were.
Well, yeah,
And what about like switching the content out? Because I think then like it would keep it fresh. You'd be able to have that. Like I'm just thinking about all the builds that I've created over the years for the 9-piece parcel where we used to do CBD. Like I need to just kind of rotate those through so that they're not, just lost forever. But like I don't know, would seems like that would be another way to keep stuff fresh.
see,
Like
I think it'd be
like
better
don't
to just
you
get you a billion 9-piece parcels so that they can all just be deployed for the moment. Like, given the existence, like how like Decentraland is a barren wasteland of abandoned parcels and unpublished scenes, it'd be like way better for the platform as a whole if the ability to enjoy all 9 or however infinite number of creations you'd had was a possibility instead of having to pick and choose. Like, oh, I can't go to the photo backdrop because the bull riding scene is up. Like that's the issue I have is that, and like the thing Derek got really made me realize is like, oh yeah, that is kind of inherently flawed because like in the regular internet, like when you make a cool app game, you don't have to replace your browser page to make a new game. Like both games get to live on the internet forever, or as long as you're paying your server fees. So whereas in Decentraland, if you only have one 3x3, you can only ever have one 3x3 creation live at a time. And like it's just like an inherently flawed thing where if like unless you have access to all the land, you're kind of like
No, absolutely. Amen. Did you ever go to Isles Build, ILE, um, where you would like jump up and activate a little button and it would switch out the different builds? It's like, yes, I think there's four-dimensional thinking and we need to have or three-dimensional thinking, we need to have four-dimensional thinking. That's the three dimensions and, time, so space time. It's like that one time, Canessa, where you swapped out a build on uh, your 9 parcel estate, and there were other people that were still in the previous build. So we were having simultaneously unique experiences based on the three-dimensional space that was represented there. And I think you and I had some conversation about wouldn't it be cool if we swapped out, you know, one thing and then the other, and that was part of the I don't know, maybe I just
Yeah,
fucking
no, that
hallucinated it.
I was gonna call it like streamer wars, and it was back when there were so many people streaming, and they kind of had they had their fans, so you'd have the JTVs stream and the Sinfuls and Ingesters. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if you had a group of like 10 people, and like each streamer has their group, and they stand off the main parcel, and then you're like, all right, ready, set, go. The first group gets on the parcel, and then you deploy it really fast, and then you say ready, set, reset. Like those people standing out there reset their reload their screen. They suddenly see a totally different build, but they like interact with each other. So you'd see people like running all over the place, and you'd be like, well, what the heck, why is that guy already above me, like but now I don't, the way that the deployment
So
works.
yeah, my
You'd break
point
it.
is that we could get to what Jared is saying. You would just like be on the 9 parcel estate. It's all loaded, right? Every single build that you've got is there. And kind of what he and Derek were talking about is like you could have both of them at the same time. Like if I'm on your 9 parcel estate and Jared is there and Jared wants to go to the I don't know, the Alps scene and I wanted to go to the CBD 1-year anniversary scene, we could both be on that same parcel at the same time in Decentraland having totally parallel but unique experiences.
You could, and that would be awesome. I also think like limiting accessibility is something that we should see as like a perk. Like I just like taking a build away and then having people want to get back to it. And I think a great example is like the Absolute Vodka build. Like that build is so amazing because that group of us spent a lot of time there. And I remember CK Bubbles, like they didn't want to leave. Everybody knew at midnight it refreshed. And so as soon as I leave the scene, this is it forever. And it like, or we thought, well, at least for a year or two. And it, turned out, nope, it actually, is kind of forever. So like maybe just being conscientious about that, like, and not to talk about Fortnite all the time, but like when they bring back a season that people fell in love with, and all of a sudden they just bring it back for 3 weeks, people just freak out because it's like that nostalgia. Like they love it, they know it, they they know they want to go see it. So I think like that, leaning into that too, where if you bring a scene back that people are stoked about, like it's just the same scene, and if you left it in world, it would just get boring and stale. Like if I took Cantina out, didn't bring it, or like that's why I don't have Mardi Gras. I want to, like, I'm only gonna deploy that once a year, like that. Even though I love it, I'm so fucking proud of it. I'm like, it's got to be special, otherwise it loses its charm.
Julia's.
Yeah, I know,
hand.
Julia. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering, or I was inspired by the art stuff, and I was curious if I could put my super rare pieces up in this festival, and I could reach out to some other like popular artists that I know from all these NFT galleries I attended in the past. Maybe they'd want to join based on just creating like max FOMO through just adventures. Like I already have some friends that are like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just following the joy."
Are
Just
do any of them happen to be like graffiti artists by chance?
the graffiti artists. Well, I know Sabat. He doesn't do graffiti, but he's really talented.
Oh, I love Sabbath. I'm such a fan. Sorry.
I know like
Is
some
that the
other
one you
people,
want? You got in the.
Yes.
Oh, geez.
Yes. That's
and I know some other people that might be interested to join this festival. And then if they join, then I think all the content created could create just more energy. um, it never hurts to ask, right? I've been kind of in the void, but from all the years that I've been to these places and all the galleries I attended with these artists and all the conversations I've had from like Clubhouse to Twitter, I feel like I could just ask maybe some people want to join in once things are like built and settled. And, there's a timeline, like Kanessa said. I think it's so key to have like a timeline and a deadline for something so that our ADHD brains can just be like, hey, like, or at least have it up so that we see it all the times so that we know that we're like building towards something.
So
So let's just pick a date. Let's do it. Let's
and
not fucking talk about it. Let's just do it. Pick a date.
and here's why I asked. So if anybody does know graffiti artists, something could be done as simple as a long wall of graffiti art on it. I think would be cool.
I was just in beautiful Boise, Idaho, and I went to a place. Has anybody heard of Freak Alley? Like, I know Boise does not strike you as like an artistic, progressive place, but oh my gosh, it's just this alley of amazing art. So that would be amazing to put in between. Oh, we could use the negative space between two builds. So like instead of creating a build for the art, like we just use the negative space. Like use the outside walls of, Jared's parkour, and use the other outside wall of like one exists, something, and odd job your tree. We won't graffiti your tree. We might knit it a sweater because that's really cool, but that would be amazing. And Julia, that we'd be like honored to tap into some of those opportunities.
I
Like some.
keep seeing like abandoned trains everywhere in Ohio. I feel like, and all this graffiti stuff and art. Maybe I can ask some actual, like, I've been trying to onboard people from Ohio to crypto with open mic nights, and it's been kind of like slowly working, like 3 people, I guess. I
Have
don't
you
know.
hooked up with Mariana?
And so then, yes, and then so then,
We've
yes, I
met in
love
person. I
her.
have that just
And
confirmed for me.
and then I
Sorry,
asked,
go ahead.
sorry, I lost track of, what was I saying?
Ohio
Ohio.
trains,
Oh yes,
onboarding
I
people.
can ask some artists who are in Ohio who might want to join via maybe Decentraland's better path to onboard than just Twitter, because a lot of people don't even like X, you know. But I think Decentraland could be a nice place to onboard people because it's just kind of magical, and it's what I think crypto, I feel like that's what crypto is, you know, just this magical world, and I feel like it represents it perfectly.
Well, it's very visual, and so for visual people like artists, you can understand it, I think, way easier than understanding, like, chains and parachains and zk swaps. Like that world gets really um intimidatingly difficult and complicated really fast. Plus crypto Twitter is like uh it's its own beast. So I mean, yeah, in some ways I think that it's like the artists that really could benefit here. And like the weird thing is, back in the early days of Decentraland, like that's what it was. There were so many art galleries, there were so many artists putting their stuff here. And then like it's weird today that there's like not a single, and I could be wrong, but like there's not a single just art gallery that features like a collective group of art in Decentraland. So it's weird that none of them stuck. Like
There's really no newly deployed ones. I mean, there's some of the ones that were deployed 2 or 3 years ago. I think the Helvetians had an art show recently, but you're right. Aside from Mary Shark's gallery, where she featured some of our artwork. Yeah, I think you're right. What is the July 12th? That's a Saturday. How does that date sound? That's far enough away from the
I was just
CBD.
looking at the calendar that this foundation put out that's pinned in there, and then the only month without a things planned is August, actually.
August would work better for me. I got my
Okay.
gold mining, I gotta go pan for
Yep.
gold. August
Okay. August.
is so. Jared, you've got the DCL calendar. When are the events in like July, and then like what are the sandwiched between events? 'Cause, like,
Career Quest is in July. It's the 16th, Wednesday through Saturday the 19th, and then Art Week Art Week actually is ironically in September, the 24th through 27th. Um, so maybe we can also look into making this a community contribution to Art Week,
yeah,
which is September.
that would be cool.
September's hard for me because I go back to school. I'm selfishly picking July because that's right in the middle of the summer. I get off June 6th. It's my last day of school. But yeah, August, September, whatever
Yeah,
you guys
we
think.
could set it up we could do it in August and then just keep it live for then when the foundation's doing their thing, we can then direct people like, hey, just in case if you're done here and you want to find more art, like here's all these other locations we already set up last month also.
Well, World's Fair lasts. I just somebody just did a report on it recently, so I learned a lot about it. But it lasts like 5 or 6 months. So why couldn't we make it, instead of like trying to inconvenient, like trying to make it convenient, and then somebody it's not going to work out for? What if it's just like an open period of time where it's like a series of events and venues kind of leading up towards, maybe at the end of the month there's like one, I don't know, like day festival or 2-day festival, but like everybody could kind of, I don't know, would that be better to contribute over the course of a month or 2 weeks, or would it be better to have it like a short intense time?
I think short. Oh, I think like all at once, where everyone all at once, everything all at once. Kind of like NFT events, right? Like a NFT LA, NFT NYC, maybe like NFT Decentraland. Did that exist yet? Does
It's
NFT?
actually wild that hasn't been done before.
Surprisingly not.
So yeah, you're welcome.
Let's do
NFT
it.
Decentraland.
Oh my gosh.
I'm actually horrified that in 5 years or
I
4
mean,
years of
it's
being here, no one else has ever
kind of
suggested that.
obvious.
That's crazy.
It's kind of
Yeah,
obvious.
we've all failed.
I mean, you
I'm
guys.
firing myself from the committee.
It's just these events are so prevalent, and I feel like seeing even the name NFT Decentraland or something of that sort, just have it in the advertising logo. Yay, advertising. um, would be beneficial and create some kind of FOMO, and then add just like, a bunch of artists who are famous in this space, just be like,
We
hey
could
guys.
just call it FOMO.
And then like
and
literally,
see how-
I've watched FOMO, I've watched it. What happens with FOMO and how one person jumps in, one artist, the next thing you know, like, everybody comes in. It's like that one guy in the rave who sits down and starts rowing his boat. Have you seen that video? And then all of a sudden, all these
Is
other
that the one at
guys.
Coachella where the guy stands up and then everybody starts joining him? Is that?
There's one like that. See, like frequencies, the vibe connects the tribe. So just add one guy rowing or standing, and the rest will just like follow, I guess. We need like, someone like, I don't know why I thought of Sabbath, just because, he does a lot of collaborations and he's pretty friendly in the space. But, I have a lot of other photographer friends that are in the space. Maybe Kath Samard would like to join. I can ask her. I don't know. Like, I just think it's cool. I feel like I'm surprised. No one in the group that I know has done stuff yet with Decentraland. So,
You know what, Julia, that would be amazing if we did it in July, because then if people come in, if your artist community comes in either as as an artist presenting their work, or just as like a consumer, or just a spectator, then they'll probably be doing the call for artists for the official hosted art week in September. So maybe it would even be like, yeah, this is cool, but like I want to be a presenter at like Art Week.
I
But I don't
want to
know,
be
the
a
window
presenter
actually.
Art Week.
Art Week, Art Week is like, yeah, they host, they build out an entire plaza.
I think I am presenting at Art Week.
Nice.
Today, I think.
Yes,
It's in
yes.
September. Are we said Faye Backner already just started that?
I know that they ask for entrance way in advance. So like even July, that might be too close, because Faye is not like us. She doesn't wait to like, oh, maybe I'll do that later. She's like a pit bull, and she gets her shit done way in advance. So
Bay is Bay.
Yes.
This has been said before, and is true. Bay is Bay. But yeah, that's why she's the producer, and we are the herd of cats that gets brought on stage for like a quick fashion walk.
I just had a dream about like cats, dude. Like, I had a dream that like 1,000 cats were trying to like murder me because I was holding this triangle thing that I wasn't supposed to hold, and I knew they were about to murder me. So I tried to get into a car in my dream, and it was like one of those cars with the open thing on the front, and so I had to close it, and then I woke up and my cat was like, feed me, and I'm like, please don't murder me. Sorry, ADHD.
That is not
Okay,
the
so I
first, or will
posted
not be the last time this space has been hijacked by ADHD. I can assure you.
the post I posted. It's called the Sasquatch Music Festival. He's the guy that just starts dancing. That's kind of the FOMO that I think Julia is describing, and the kind of vibe we need to create. I gotta run.
Sasquatch FOMO. Wait,
Yes.
remember Yetis? Did anyone remember buying Yetis?
All right, I'm gonna drop out.
Is this how I find out I'm old? Because I have no. If a Yeti isn't a microphone, I have no idea what you're talking
No,
about.
it's an NFT. You guys don't know what, like in 2021 or 2022, they Yetis was like a collection.
On Sol? Was it Sol Yeti?
No, it was on Ethereum.
Okay, so Yeti's and friends.
So before you guys interrupted Oddjob, he was saying that he had to go. So love you, Oddjob. Thank you for popping in.
I thought he got to announce that he was leaving clearly and concisely between our yammerings about things. I apologize if that wasn't true. Oddjob's a lovely person, and I would never want to disrespect him. He's always been very nice to me.
I do like an Irish goodbye sometimes,
Yeah, that's when you drink and you get blackout drunk, right? No, I'm just kidding. I know that it's when you just don't say goodbye because you assume no one cares. But yeah, back to what I wanted to talk about. We got to jam pack this calendar, folks. We need 3 events a day, every day. We should get the DAO to fund it. Um, something. Someone should pay for this somehow. Also, I really like. I never regretted being the like helping shut the DCL DAO grant system down until like this week. When like, man, if I could just get $5,000 to like pay for art assets and like submission fees of wearables, like that would really make turning this pizza game into a reality like way faster. It would just be so much easier
You
to
could apply
create
for a
something.
grant. You could apply for a
No,
grant.
I can't anymore because the DCL grant program has been shut down. A
Wait,
proposal that I submitted myself originally and then has
there was a
been,
grant program in DCL.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You meant just a regular grant. You didn't even mean a DCL grant. Well, yeah. If you have some leads on places that I would give grants for building in DCL, I'll apply for them.
That's cool that
Yeah,
DCL had grants for artists.
yeah, it was cool, but then it kind of got like abused and like it really turned into a very toxic and terrible situation, sadly. But it's the conceptually it was cool. It just kind of turned into like a sad situation.
Was it in 2022?
The grant program was live from like I think it was started in 2021 and then it was officially sunset last year. It got shut down. There were like 2 different like 3 and 6 months windows where it got shut down for like reworkings over the course of its run. But yeah.
Maybe it'll return again.
Yeah, right now to give you your brief DCL history for anyone who hasn't been keeping up. We shut down the grant program. We voted on how to restructure the DAO governance. So now there's like going to be a kind of like as opposed to being totally everything gets voted on, we voted on a centralized team who will then be given the ability to kind of use the budget as they see fit and kind of make decisions. Like we'll still get to like kind of veto it if it becomes necessary through governance. But and then theoretically, it sounded like they were going to have smaller grants. Like back in the day, the grants program you could get from like $2,000 to was it 150 was the most, or maybe 240,000 I think was the highest you could apply for.
What?
So now it's yeah. But I mean, and
That's insane, even for like traditional art, you know.
Oh yeah, no, you are correct. It was insane and was almost exclusively fraudulently waste of money. Like some of the biggest grants, like 6-figure grants, there were a couple games that weren't such egregious uses of money, though they ended up not working when they moved to STK7. But then there was like a DJ event. There was like a 3-day DJ event. A lot of money was spent on DJ events, which is ultimately what led to the community being like, wait a minute, like none of like, oh, we spent like $100,000, more than $100,000 on an architectural biennale, which lasted 3 days and was
Would
like
you guys
mostly
have
promoting
like Steve
another
Aoki?
metaverse.
Was there Steve Aoki?
Sadly, I don't think Steve
What?
Aoki. No, yeah, we
What
didn't.
if you
Sadly, which
guys
is crazy
didn't
because
even
you would think with
hire
that much money.
Steve Aoki? Oh no.
Instead, we got the platform not working for like 3 days.
But yeah, so yeah, every like almost every 6-figure grant or like the majority, not almost every, that's a little too harsh, but the majority of 6-figure grants were like an egregious waste of money that like left no tangible, like there's very little you can point to be like, oh yeah, that's the thing we spent $6,000 on. So which is why it got shut down. But I do believe in the new governance situation, there will still be like a like $10,000 or $5,000 and less community grant situations was I could believe still on the table. So like I think that would be nice because like I don't want to get paid to make my idea happen. Like I just want to see my idea happen. But I don't want to have to pay KJ Walker out of my own pocket to make a dope pizzeria and a cool pizza man. Like I can't afford that. I'm not independently wealthy yet. I was supposed to be independently wealthy by now, but I've made a series of bad decisions, like buying ice poker wearables for too much money. So I would like some help. Especially because like it's crazy to think that like any of us should be paying thousands of dollars out of our own pocket, even though I know many people here have and will continue to promote this platform. Like that's crazy. There's millions of dollars of mana and funds in between the DAO and the foundation. the under 100 of us who are here on the daily, like pushing events, like we none of us should have to be paying a dime out of our own pocket to like make this place better. Like there's lots of money. Like Esteban has millions of dollars a man, which he's happy to help spend. Hey, there's Nate. Speaking of people who have spent thousands of dollars out of their own pocket on this platform. I mean, I can keep monologuing. I just thought you were ready.
I'm kind of getting ready. I have to go. I have to go pretty soon, but I can also just kind of remain quietly. No, a lot of good points. A lot of good points there, and I think definitely, yeah, a lot to say about that. Make, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Good morning, Ish. First of all, thanks Rustam for hosting us last night, showing us the new creative tools, working just splendidly at Rustam's. I hope you all get a chance to try them. I think this new version, a few people are having some issues. I know I haven't been able to launch the latest tools personally, but they are amazing. Seeing all the lights. And for Sin to be able to switch on the fly, switch the tools for the DJs is truly amazing. I don't think people who don't throw events know how hard that could be with one server, even two sometimes. So big kudos for new tools being built that are going to be incredibly useful for everybody else. I think that's the first thing we should take a peek at and celebrate because, you know, once they all are working for everyone, I think we've got a I think that's going to open the door, and I think also the server that you could launch right from Decentraland, if that really does become a stable piece of a tool, that could really open the door for all of you guys who own land to do what you want without trying to get servers or anything else. Absolutely incredible W. That's one thing I think most people have been waiting for. So huge W there. Unfortunately, there is a little bug for some people. I know old guy was having some issues launching those tools on his property, and I was as well. But they will. I feel really good about it because the last generation worked just fine. So little hiccup, but I think we can all be really excited about that. As far as paying KJ Walker, full disclosure, Jared, I am paying KJ Walker to build something amazing because it's outside of the scope of what I can do. And I'm really excited to work with somebody who's such a legend to really open up what's possible next. And I think sometimes you need to work with great people to have great things come. So there's that. And I think the DAO was finding their way. I think it's really hard. I think we've watched so many things happen and change and pivot. I think everybody was trying to do what was right. And unfortunately, as per usual in Web3, a few bad apples really can rot the course. So here we are. But I'm with a bunch of my friends, and it was great to hang out with Sinful last night. You have no idea how much fun it really is to sit in the quiet with me.
Much love, Make. Yeah, those admin tools are pretty dope. I hope we can get them working here soon. Uh, yeah, my bad. I've been voting on some POIs, on some POI removals here and stuff like that in the background.
Yeah, I mean, I think when those tools get fully realized for everybody who has land, I think that really is going to change the experience. I think that's one of the things that are like holding back the smaller group of people right now is that they might not have access to a server or they feel the need to team up with people who do have servers and that's their only choice right now. So I really feel like that choice is going to enable all of you landholders to get out there and make something great. And you know, Julia, yeah, once you have that right on a piece of land or borrowed or begged or stolen, I mean, you could bring in whatever artist you want and you don't need me, Sinful, and Canessa because you'll be empowered to do it. So I think that'll be a big win. I think that's something that on most other platforms, people have a way to get out and talk to people, and that's pretty much fully realized right now. And Rustan really, I can't thank you enough for giving us the opportunity to try them.
I really enjoyed last night with Rustan Space, and just you said the colors were added, the lights, because the lighting really made interesting visual content. So I really enjoyed that. And I'm excited about these tools. And I don't have I'm down to collaborate. And I think part of it is fun for me to just put my art in other people's worlds already that have builds, because I just am inspired by the builds in general. And I also like the idea of putting my own art in my own build. Like, I have a world, Julia Sky, but I have no idea how to build things. So I really love collaborating with people.
Well, one of the easiest ways that you could deploy to your name would be using in-world builder. I mean, that at least unless someone can speak of an easier way. I mean, at least for like getting assets, uploading them, and then plopping them in a certain order of stuff,
If I'm not
and so
mistaken,
on and so forth.
Chrono T did help her deploy to her world. She does have a world that is functional, unless I like absolutely hallucinated a tweet
Yeah,
one time.
Chrono T's making me a gondola. That I'm putting, the first thing I'm putting in the world is this gondola. And then yeah, I have a world. I took out the weird statues I didn't like, except for -1 or 2 of them. I gotta take out those statues. And I have no idea how to put my art in the portals at all. I don't know. It's just slowly, a slow process. So and then I get, I just want to join in other people's events a lot of the time. So then I get kind of distracted in a good way. I think it's slow energy, I get overwhelmed when things happen all at once.
I do find that Decentraland is such a hard place to quote unquote build in and stay focused because like you go jump into DCL to see how your deploy went, and they're like, oh, like my friends are doing a thing, and then you're like, well, I want to go support my friend doing a thing, and then next thing you know, you're like, you've just wasted an hour, not wasted, but you've not been doing the thing you were trying to do for an hour. And it's like an ADH person, it's like ADH like prison. It's so easy to just get not productive.
I'm gonna just post like short clips on my phone as things progress over time. I think that's the way. People were like, "Oh, you should screen record your thing," but I like the idea of talking and like seeing my reflection on the laptop, and then also talking to other people through my laptop at the same time.
Okay, speaking of ADHD and La Cantina and my surf shop, Canessa, can I get these surfboard GLB files from you so that I can display them in a pile of surfboards in my surf shop, please? Because they're lovely.
Yeah, I mean they're easy enough. Yeah.
I I did find it was shockingly there are some having spent a lot of time looking for free surfboard GLB files because despite the fact that I bet you a surfboard is probably one of the easier things to make in Blender for your first attempt. I didn't try because Blender scares me. Um, but there are some that were shockingly high in the triangle count side of things. These ones look like they're pretty optimized for Decentraland. And also, if anyone knows Ferguson, if they could go tell him to accept my bid on the 2 parcels I bid on, like with the, I mean, like I know it's not the biggest ETH gain for him, but like with the boom of ETH in the last week, like if anything, I feel like I might be overbidding on these bad boys. So I'm gonna need Ferguson to accept those offers. So I have 3 street side parcels, so I can make myself a nice little surf shop, smoke shop, pizzeria.
So, Vanessa, I kind of been thinking about like earlier you made a comment on like paying for entertainment, or like just like the cost to be able to host an event, and kind of a possible new to us, kind of event form or concept kind of popped into mind, and it may involve the DCL admin tools. For example, yesterday at the Riviera, while DJ Vaped and Make were performing, we had Rustan controlling the lights, and he would be like, trying to time the lights with the beat drops and stuff like that. Um, like, what if like we can even get to a point where, or someone can get to a point where they could start developing like these 3D assets that are animated, and kind of create a 3D asset entertainment experience in a way. I don't know how to exactly call it. Kind of how like what what's her name? Grimes. I think she came to DCL, and she was. All right, checkies, everyone's. Hello. My apologies for the rug, but looks like, all great things must come to a close sometimes. So, what I am going to do is